for the Bulldogs, Gardner and Kingsley, each with a couple of goals for the Cats. Could have been a lot closer too. Cameron Mooney missing that goal late in the first half. Well, it has been a very eventful week, shall we say, down at Whitten Oval this week. The newspaper headlines have been full of stories about the Bulldogs and their future and their current financial situation. And joining us to talk more about that and clear up the situation, the president of the Bulldogs, David Smorgon. David, terrific to have you along.
Thanks.
Good to have you with us. I tell you what, looking at the Bulldogs out there, it doesn't go with Caroline Wilson's opening line in her column today. There is a smell of death about the Western Bulldogs. That's strong.
Well, it's strong. I think Caro's written that. I know she wrote it last year, she wrote it this year, and she'll probably write it again in 2004. But that just inspires some of us to keep doing what we believe in, Clinton, and keep getting the message out to our members, to our sponsors and the people that follow the Bulldogs, because where she is right, the AFL and all the other clubs, and I think the football public, want a club like ours to survive. And we're aiming not just to survive, we want to be successful. And that's what we're all working very hard to achieve.
I guess if there is a positive thing to have come from this is that support from the other clubs, particularly the Victorian-based clubs, unanimously have said, yes, we're quite willing to back the AFL and the financial assistance package for the Bulldogs. We want the Bulldogs.
That's right, and I wouldn't separate Victorian clubs from non-Victorian clubs. Some of our biggest supporters are, in fact, the interstate clubs that recognise the whole fabric of the competition is basically around 10 clubs in Melbourne, the existing 10 clubs in Melbourne. And I would say there's 15 clubs out there that certainly so far have been supportive of the 16 clubs, and I've got no doubt that they will continue to be so.
Your President's address today, touching on the situation in terms of corporate support, it staggered me, this figure. 6 businesses out in the western suburbs contribute $5,000 or more to the Bulldogs. Only 6 businesses.
Yes, and that's a pretty poor reflection. That's at the top end, Clinton. At the bottom end, we have about 200 smaller businesses that are involved in our player sponsor groups, our top dog groups, our Westerners group. But certainly we're suffering at the top end, and we're going to mount another campaign to put our message to the community. Today we had the Premier Steve Bracks, and he's assured me of the support of whatever he and the government can do to help spread the message of the Bulldogs. We play a vital role in the Western region, and it's about time some people in business certainly recognise that, and that's what we're working to achieve.
Your yearly budget for gate receipts is $0, which is hard to imagine, but given the cost structure here at Telstra Dome. What about today? High 20,000s, maybe nudging 30,000, the attendance figure. It's a good start.
It's a good start, but you need 30,000 just to get some dollars into our bank account, and that's something we're working on, and we've got some ideas to put to some of the other clubs over the future weeks where we are the home team. But obviously the gate receipts is a problem for us, and I think that's why the League, again, is looking at an equalisation policy that maybe is a bit different to the one currently in existence, because I think it's not just the Bulldogs. I think there's a number of smaller clubs that are going to be doing it tough.
And how do you broaden your membership base? We know that the very vocal Bulldog fans we've got out there in the outer at the moment who are enjoying things with a 17-point lead at half-time, but how do you broaden that membership base and get it up to that 25,000?
Probably the best way by winning games.
Yeah, simple as that.
It comes back to that basic. You've got to have a package that's available to them. I'd like to thank all of those members, the 3,000 of them that joined up this week, and they add to the 12,000 have done so previously. So thanks for getting on board, and to those others that haven't jumped on board, don't miss out.
There's a lot to like about this team. David, good luck for it.
Thanks,
and enjoy the second half if you can.
Thank you.
Bulldogs President David Smorgon, half-time. Bulldogs by 17 points. A lot to like about this game. Stay with the second half coming up next. But if you haven't resubscribed to Fox Footy for 2003, you better do so now, because otherwise you'll miss out on this.
Let's find out who's out back.